So the topic for today is what's really in your way, and it may not be what you think. So this is a 90-minute interactive breakthrough session. Like I said, it's about first 15 minutes. I'm going to give you a overall idea of how this model works, and a little bit about me, and then we'll get into the Q&A in about 15 minutes or so. Okay. And I'll introduce myself here pretty soon as well. So I just want to welcome you, and a couple of ground rules. Again, this is a short presentation, then we'll talk about your breakthroughs, line up your questions, start taking notes. You're free to post questions that are relevant to the presentation here in the chat box. And remember, only relevant questions to the presentation. No networking, please, during this event. And by the end, if you're coachable and you like to engage, you have a clear next step for whatever you're stuck with. Yeah, that's my commitment to you. All right. So a little bit about me. My name is Sunil Bhaskaran. For more than 30 years, actually 40 years, I've been developing this work since about 1985. But I was a coach really officially and a mentor for businesses, speaker, author since about 1991. I developed this work mostly for myself, for my own ability to get through some of the things that were stopping me. And then it grew into a business, then it grew into a teaching, and I'm passionate about it, and I'd love to share more about this with you today. I've worked with over 10,000 plus professionals, more one-on-one or in a workshop capacity, spoken to way more than that. There are about 500 plus proprietary distinctions that I've accumulated. And distinctions are really elements of wisdom that you can use to have breakthroughs, etc. And I'm going to share at least one of them or a couple of them today with you that will give you some insight and clarity in where you want to go. I've worked with companies like Compass Cares, which I helped grow from 12 employees to 1,200 plus employees. I've worked with Cisco. I've worked with many other companies, Comerica Bank amongst them. And help them transform through this work that I'm actually presenting to you. Today isn't about me. It's about what I've seen that nobody pretty much talks about out there. Again, this is some of the companies that I've worked with. I'm only sharing this with you so you get a sense of who I am. So you know that I'm a serious business and I actually have trained people. So let's get into this. So you may be smart, or you are smart. I'm sure a lot of you are smart and you're very capable. And you've proven it many times, perhaps. Some of you may be in a crisis of confidence, thinking about what's next for you. So why does the next level of life or business or work feel like maybe pushing a boulder uphill? So this session will show exactly what's in the way. And again, may not be what you think it is. Okay, and I invite you to just consider that you may not have heard this before. So you may have already tried, the following strategies. You work harder, longer, smarter. You've invested in coaching, perhaps courses, masterminds. You've developed better strategies and systems. You've read the books, attended the seminars. You've hired better people. You've reorganized your teams for some of you. And yet the fundamental pattern hasn't changed. And you're not alone in this. Almost every accomplished person in this room and beyond has some version of this. And there is a way through. Okay. All right. So let's get deeper into this mystery here. So the uncomfortable truth is that the strategy isn't really the problem. If you've tried changing strategy and hasn't really changed much in terms of your results, it could be that you have a pattern running beneath your awareness that's quietly keeping you exactly where you are. And the most dangerous part of this is that it looks like something noble, like something really good. Okay, so let's get deeper into this. So let's get into the hidden patterns, something I call the XY technology. You could say that X is something that you're avoiding in order to honor an honorable or seemingly honorable or noble intention. So you avoid X with a seemingly honorable intention of Y. And we're going to do some examples, and I know some of you are looking at this and wondering what this is about. But consider that there's something you're avoiding called X. You could say that it's the uncomfortable truth beneath the surface, the thing that you may not want to face, feel, or confront. But you have a noble intention, the seemingly honorable justification for avoiding this X is that it makes the avoidance look righteous, noble, or wise. So you avoid X with a seemingly honorable intention of Y. Okay. So just consider that that could be true. Okay. I'm not saying it's absolutely true. I'm just inviting you to consider it. Okay. So again, you avoid X, whatever X may be, some kind of uncomfortable truth, something you don't want to face, feel, or confront, with a seemingly honorable intention of fulfilling Y. Okay. So how this pattern works, you have a goal, a vision that matters deeply to you. It might be your business. It may be your life. It may be you're turning 50 and beyond, and you want to see what's next for you. So there's something uncomfortable that stands between you and that goal. Let's call it X, something that you tend to avoid. You unconsciously or consciously avoid X with a noble sounding intention of Y. Y creates the exact problem you're trying to avoid. So the more you try to avoid X, actually more X shows up. And the combination of this X and the Y, the combination of what you're avoiding and what the noble sounding intention is, creates more of that problem, creates the experience of being stuck. Now, I'm going to do a couple of examples here so you have somewhat of an idea, but some of you may have to grapple with this because it's so tricky what your ego or your brain your mind kind of plays a trick on you with the noble intention of keeping you in survival. So it thinks that it has to keep this XY in place for you so that you survive or avoid risks, etc., etc. So what ends up happening is most people try harder, or they come up with some kind of strategy using more of the why, perhaps, and they get more and more stuck. The cycle is invisible until it's exposed to you and you start seeing it. Some of you are going to start seeing this, and I invite you to consider working with me during the Q&A so you can distinguish what this is for yourself. Okay. So this is an example. You may be a leader. Some of you may be leaders or managers, or you're looking to hire people, or you've hired people maybe in the past. And this is a leader who can't seem to find good people. Now, it could be, I invite you to consider that what's at the heart of this issue for you is that you're avoiding X, which could be fear of losing control of your employees or your business, a fear of avoiding, you're trying to avoid being let down or disappointed by your people that you hire or you work with, or the team members that you work. Maybe even this is something about your boss, someone that you work for. So fear of losing control, being disappointed, looking incompetent, with a noble intention of maintaining your high standards. Nobody does it as well as you do. So what happens with this? You start micromanaging everyone. The team stops taking initiative, and it just keeps confirming the belief that nobody can do it right, the very problem that you created, right? So we can dive deeper into this if some of you might have this, either with your team or with your boss, for example. Okay. Some of you may have this issue if you're an expert or a small business person who just can't seem to sell anything. And this is a very common XY. It could be that you're avoiding being seen as pushy, greedy, or a salesperson type. You're avoiding the rejection, but you're avoiding being seen as pushy, greedy, or a salesperson type with a noble intention of letting your work speak for itself, or noble intention of wanting to be authentic and not salesy. And you can kind of see how that would go. If you're avoiding being seen as pushy, and that drives your entire sales methodology, then that avoidance of being pushy is kind of like if I keep telling you to not think of a pink elephant. If I keep repeating that to you, whatever it is, Glenda, don't think of a pink elephant. Whatever it is, Jan, don't think of a pink elephant. What will you think of? Of course, you will think of a pink elephant. So whatever you avoid, if you're avoiding being seen as pushy, that avoidance of being pushy kind of dominates the whole game. So, but you have this noble intention. I want to be authentic and not say that's why I'm avoiding being seen as pushy. But that avoiding being pushy actually colors the whole sales game. And you can see that the results are you undercharge. You don't charge as much as you can or are capable of. You avoid follow-ups because you think, that person's not going to be interesting. I don't want to be pushy. You give away too much for free. Clients stop valuing your work. Your income stays flat. And it keeps confirming that selling doesn't work for you. For some people, the revenue impact is often 100,000 to 500,000. I'm not exaggerating these numbers, by the way, because you really can't gauge what your opportunity cost is, what opportunities you're leaving on the table because you have this XY. And that could be a high opportunity cost for a lot of you. And I'm not trying to scare you or anything. I'm just telling you the truth. Okay? This pattern runs in some form for almost every professional in this room, I assert. Some of you may be exceptions to this, but I would assert it runs for quite a number of people. That's a pretty common one. Why the pattern is so invisible? It feels like who you are. It's kind of like you kind of start seeing, that's just who I am. It's kind of like just my personality. So it's not a pattern. You start looking at it like it's just who you are. So you become comfortable with just the way who you are and you start tolerating your results. Your why looks admirable. You don't want to be thought of as pushy, and you want to be thought of as someone who's authentic. Oh, it looks very honorable and admirable, but your avoidance strategy, is actually costing you your integrity, your high standards, your money-making ability. Also, everyone around you might start agreeing. They might start treating you like this XY is just who you are, just your personality. It's just the way you are. So people kind of reinforce your honorable intention because it sounds reasonable. Oh, he's not a pushy person. He's easy to work with. So nobody challenges what seems to be noble, right? And willpower can't change it. A lot of people come to me, well, so no, I just have to try harder. But you trying harder actually just makes it all worse. But there is a way out of this hell, okay? But working harder just drives the why deeper, okay? All right, so let's get deeper into this. So the cost of not seeing this, every year this pattern runs unchecked and it compounds until you actually start dealing with it, truthfully, honestly. So Gloria Steinem was this feminist from the 70s. She said this very wise thing. She said the truth will set you free, but first it'll kind of piss you off. So the truth can set you free. If you deal with the truth quickly, then you can have freedom. My invitation for y'all is to do the short-term suffering. Get through the pain and the piss off and get to the truth as quickly as you can so you can actually have some freedom. So what are the costs? You already saw the 100K to 500K opportunity costs, what you may be leaving on the table unbeknownst to you, the thousands of hours per year that you may be working unnecessarily so, ineffectively and inefficiently, maybe costing your relationships and health, the strain by stress, overwork, the quiet frustration of knowing you're capable of more. A lot of you know you're capable of more. Some of you may not be aware of it, but I think the majority of you are. There's something that you're not dealing inside of this XY that's actually to stop for you. This may be your best years yet, but if you spend your best years repeating the same cycle over and over again, expecting different results but getting the same, and wondering why nothing fundamentally changes, it's a definition of insanity. My invitation is to really step out of the insanity. The pattern doesn't get better with time. You think, old age might cure it. Sometimes it does because you get tired of it, but it just gets more and more expensive. So we're going to dive deeper into this XY, but I'm going to invite you to really look at why trying harder makes it worse. Because a lot of you think, I just need to try harder. A lot of you have this hardworking, try harder kind of strategy. And let me explain why that doesn't work. What doesn't work is more willpower or discipline, better strategies or systems, because you've probably tried these. Positive affirmations, just push through it, another course or certification. Now, I'm not saying don't do a course, don't do a certification, don't do positive affirmations. Don't find a better. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you only bank on that without really getting to the heart of the matter, which is what we're trying to get at here, you may be wasting your money and your time. So what actually works, in my experience, and seeing this with literally tens of thousands of people, is seeing the pattern clearly. Now, this is where I want you to pay attention here, because a lot of you would like to cut corners and get to the answer. And I'm going to tell you right now, the answer is the booby prize. I'll repeat it again for the hard of hearing. Trying to get an answer today is going to be the booby prize. I know it's going to be disappointing for some of you, but the real answer is in going through the journey. You got to be willing to go through the journey. There's some work you have to do. So you have to really see the pattern clearly. So I know a lot of you just want to, hey, just tell me what the answer is, and I can literally tell you what your XYs are in about 5-10 minutes or so, most people. But it would deprive you of going through the process yourself. You got to do the work, okay? So you got to see the pattern very clearly. You got to follow what I'm going to suggest very, very clearly. You got to be very coachable here to do the work in order to see the pattern very clearly and say it and articulate it very clearly as yourself. Because if you can't articulate it clearly, how can you solve it? It's kind of difficult to do so. So you got to understand the structure as well by articulating the pattern clearly. And this will help you dissolve the root cause. What's at the root of this issue, of what's stopping you from getting to the success that you know that you deserve. You got to stop thinking of solutions and start thinking from creating a new context. What this means is a lot of you have been developing strategies that are based in your past, created in response to some trauma that happened at a very young age. And you develop these strategies of hard work, trying harder. Some of you have the opposite strategy of hard work, which is doing as less as possible. And that has limitations because it was based on thinking at a very young age. So you may have to develop a new context or a new thinking at your current age, or better. My invitation is to create a better context. You have a better context, you probably have an easier way to create success. This is something I call transformation, not information. A lot of you have been banking on information. There's a lot of content out there. You notice it doesn't really make much of a difference. Real transformation, real breakthroughs comes from really dealing with telling the truth on where you've been lying about stuff. You kind of got to start telling the truth about where you've been lying about stuff or hiding stuff or avoiding stuff. That's the key to transformation. Now, getting more information, getting workshops and all, useful, but not going to help you get past any kind of stuck points like this. I'm sure some of you may be realizing that by now. So what's the difference between transformation and information? Information tells you about the problem, may even tell you a solution. For you, a lot of you may be useless. Even if you tell you the solution, you may not do it. You probably end up resisting doing it. So it tells you about the problem, adds to what you already know, makes you smarter, it seems like, but the pattern stays intact because you haven't really transformed something at the root. So you know more, but big deal, whoop-de-doo, nothing really changes. So more information doesn't necessarily lead to a breakthrough or a transformation. What's transformation? It changes who you are in relationship to the issue. So you're looking at who you're being. If you're being courageous, you have a certain effectiveness in your issue. If you're not being courageous, you need to distinguish where you're not being courageous, or you're not being effective, or you're not being confident. So it changes who you're being in relationship to the issue. Some of you will discover that you can be courageous in the face of this issue, or you can be bold. And you need to really shift that way of being to boldness from where you're at right now. That shift in being dissolves what was blocking you. It literally dissolves it. Some of you, if you're coachable today, you might actually experience that. It's up to you whether you want to or not, but my invitation is, if you're coachable and you want to come on the Q&A that's going to come up here pretty soon, you'll have an opportunity to actually dissolve what's been blocking you for many years, perhaps. It gives you freedom, not just knowledge. The pattern disappears at the root, and you act differently, effortlessly. Okay, so you don't need more information about your pattern. You need to see it, and it dissolves it, or it starts dissolving it at that point. So what becomes possible? When you dissolve the root pattern, not manage it, you dissolve it. So this creates a freedom from that invisible ceiling. Some of you kind of know there's an invisible ceiling. I just can't seem to break through that ceiling. So you stop recreating the same limitation in different disguises. Some of you are trying different things, but you end up seeing the same ceiling, no matter what you do, no matter what, what coaches you hire, et cetera, et cetera. This gives you an opportunity to have clarity you never had. See a situation from a fundamentally different vantage point. You end up with natural, effortless action. Now, this doesn't mean that you're not going to work, but you're going to have more natural, effortless, I should say more like struggle-free kind of hard work. If a lot of you like to do hard work. I like to work hard too, but I like to work hard in a way that I feel good about it and not stuck in things that shouldn't be really getting me stuck. Things that you could say that I kind of make, that you and I are making up, that have nothing to do with reality. Okay? So the right moves become obvious when the pattern isn't running the show. Right now, the pattern has you. You don't have the pattern. So when you start seeing the pattern, it gives you an opportunity to kind of unlock yourself from that pattern. Okay? Results that felt out of reach now seem possible. Part of having a breakthrough is to realize that, hey, you know what? What I am trying to go for is actually possible. Some of you kind of like declare that, yeah, I want to have a successful business or a career, but you don't quite believe it. And it's not about increasing your belief in anything. It's just that something needs to shift in how you're looking at your commitment and your relationship to it. And that's what will start making it more realistic for you. Some of you might start noticing that there's something in the way that you're being that actually is causing the problem. It's not the strategy, it's not other people, etc. And if you shift that, that could be all the things that you need in order to have the success you're looking for. Okay. Okay. All right. I see some of you are asking questions. We're going to get to your questions here as soon as possible. So what leader? This is a couple of testimonials from people. Some of them are confidential because they prefer to be confidential. Charlotte Jacobs is one. She tripled her income in 90 days. I was her first mentor back in 2000. She and I are still very good friends. We still do business together. And today she's made millions. Some of you may know who she is, especially if you're a coach. She does a lot of $1 million trainings for coaches who want to go from where they're at in income right now to at least $30,000 per month. She's fabulous at what she does. You can read the rest of the testimonials here. I think it kind of speaks for itself. But really what I invite you to look at is, for yourself, what kind of breakthrough and results are you really looking for? Where are the challenges? Where are the blocks right now that you can see or that you can kind of feel, but you can't articulate? And my invitation for you is to join in on the Q&A, and then we can have an interaction on that, okay? All right. So a little bit more about this. Where is your pattern costing you most? This is important to start noticing. Some of you may not be able to articulate your pattern, but you want to start noticing what's the pattern costing you? You can get a sense that there's something there, right? So you may say things like, I can't sell without feeling like a fraud. Some people, you may not have it, but some other people might have it in this audience here. I can't let go. Nobody does it like I do. So I have to hold on to my task and I can't delegate to people. I've hit a ceiling and I can't break through it. So it seems like you're just stuck with that, right? And so some people come to me for breakthroughs in their sales. Some people come to me in breakthroughs in their productivity, their workflows. Some people come to me on breakthroughs in their leadership. But all of these are really rooted in the XY. And I'm going to invite you in a couple of seconds as we get into the Q&A to start engaging with me so you can start distinguishing what's stopping you and holding you back, and then how you can get past it, okay? So the question I'm going to ask is, how many more years are you willing to pay this price? You now know something most people never learn. The obstacle isn't skill, strategy, or effort. It's a pattern you can now choose to dissolve. So there's a discovery session that I offer. This is a paid discovery session. And, we also offer a free, I call this the Noble Disguises Assessment, where you can actually go through a quiz, and this is completely free. And I'm going to put the link here in a second in the chat box. And you can use the quiz to find the pattern that's running your show as well. Okay. And then there's another paid program that I do as well. So we're offering the discovery session. This is a paid discovery session. And in this discovery session, you will work with me one-on-one over Zoom, get an opportunity to identify a specific XY pattern. And you'll see why everything you've tried hasn't worked and what will. And then we'll help you map the pathway from stuck to free. We'll literally give you a plan. We meaning me, you and I working together, and know with certainty whether this is right for you or not. Okay. So you'll leave with insight whether we work together or not. Beyond the discovery session, you can also do the quiz if you wish to do that. So I'm going to now put this into one second. Let's make sure I put in the right thing. All right, one moment here. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. And put the links in here so you can sign up for whichever follow-up program you want to do. Okay. All right. So the links are in there, and you're welcome to explore those links if you wish to. Okay. So let me go back to the presentation here because maybe two things here I need to cover. Okay, so we're going to move into the Q&A now, and this is where I really invite you to really interact with me so you want to bring your real challenge. Okay, I don't want to hear any theoretical stuff. So I want to hear like what you think your pattern is, and the opportunity to really be more honest about it as you can. Okay, the deeper we can go, probably the better you can clarify what's holding you back. You want to see what your specific pattern is here during this Q&A and experience the shift yourself, so you can leave with clarity and not just more information. So my invitation is for you to engage with me and figure out what your XY is. Who'd like to go first, please? Okay, Glenda.
Okay. So what I saw was it's around my Soul on Fire retreat, not retreat, but my show. And it's the thing is sometimes charging or asking for what I want. Because this is where my thoughts are, because they may not want to pay me or buy that, or it's a sales thing, right? And so and then my why was I think it was my why being it's because my noble intention around that would be something around being accepted, being nice, being humble, so don't be aggressive or whatever, just trying to keep a neutral space, so everything is uplifted. So I think that's all I got, but it was really around that. I saw that what I was avoiding was really, oh, it's worth $2,500, but oh gosh, they may not be able to afford that. Or gosh, would I ruin my opportunities if I got on a call with them and said, hey, this is $2,500, you're going to love it, kind of thing. So anyway, that's my thoughts. That's what I was thinking.
Very good. Yeah. So the rest of you want to pay attention here, because we have a different set of circumstances from Glenda. Now imagine this, Glenda's a Grammy nominated singer-songwriter, and she has this going on, right? So this is very universal. No matter how successful you can be, you can still be stuck in a paradigm around this. The XY is very pernicious. you know? So if you, but it's very important, Glenn, and for all of you to get and really articulate the XY very clearly. And you got to follow the format really well,
Mm,
because otherwise it starts it starts becoming very squirrely, you know?
right.
So you want to, so it sounds like you're avoiding, and I'm just going to paraphrase it so you can
Yeah.
correct it. Okay, correct it for me. Sounds like you're avoiding being pushy or aggressive in your outreach for your sales and your marketing with an honorable intention of appearing to be amenable or nice or workable with or so on and so forth. Right? So what you want to do is actually really look at what the X and Y is and articulate it as clearly as possible. Because the clearer you get it, when you get this clear, I see people's faces light up. They look like all the unhappiness that they've accumulated all these years just vanishes out of it. The frowns, etc., disappear. You know, literally. I mean, I've seen it. It's really. I hope you get the sense of this, but you got to articulate it really well. That's the trick.
Yeah.
The ego doesn't want you to articulate this very well
Yeah.
because it thinks it's too risky, you know?
Yeah.
So you kind of gotta like thank the ego for sharing
Mm.
and do the work here. So what do you think it is? Like if you look at the XY more rigorously, how would you say it? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good one. I mean, it's really, what am I, you're,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the, yeah, I like the honorable, it's like looking good. Like, you, yeah, I think sorry, I'm like over the map here.
That's okay. You're
Because
doing great.
I'm
You're doing
thinking,
great.
I'm thinking through this.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. So, because really what's there is, when you're offering somebody, a product or your service or whatever, which I'm offering both, right?
Yeah.
I'm asking for what I want. So it's a matter of really deciding, like when you sit back, you go, well, my
Mhm.
my my offer is a minimum of $2,500, not just what I want. It's
Right.
the value there. The product that I designed and
Very
developed
good. Yeah.
is there. So
Yeah.
they're going to get 100% value, 100% quality.
Yeah.
That's not the issue. The issue is me then stepping forward with the confidence to be able to and the prowess on some level to be able to share it properly. So it's just a yes if it's a fit, if
Yeah.
I'm finding the right market, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's really, I think a lot of times what I do is I stop myself and then
Uh-huh.
I go, oh, they may not be able to afford that. So
Right.
don't charge that much, you know. So it's like I'm not in myself. I'm over there trying to be in their world, going, you know, why wouldn't they charge? Why wouldn't they accept that? I mean, I know I've purchased things, doing courses like yours and other people's courses, and they've
Yeah.
charged 10,000, and
Yeah.
I wasn't like, oh my god, no, sure, a little bit comes up, but there's always something to be workable with that. Like if I
Yeah.
really want to do something, and I think this is for everybody, if you really see the value, you really see the passion, you'll figure out how to buy it,
You're,
right?
you're moving a little bit away from the conversation at heart.
Yeah, sorry. I was
That's
just
okay.
kind of talking it
Okay.
out through my own head.
That's
uh,
fine. You're
that's
doing
mhm.
all of this is great. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my job is to really look at it. So
Yeah.
what you want to look at is okay, you can hear the languaging. Pay attention to the words you're using, right?
Mm.
You said, uh, I'm paraphrasing, you used you actually had another word. So forgive me. It's a lot of information I'm absorbing, but you said it kind of, I'm paraphrasing this. I have to say it in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So it lands right
Yeah,
away.
so it lands right.
That could be another XY there too.
Mm.
Okay. I think you have a format of, I think the first XY was kind of in the ballpark, is you're avoiding, and it's in the ballpark. I'm not saying this is exactly it, okay?
Yeah.
But you're avoiding being aggressive, too salesmanly like, or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
It's part of trying to do it right too, so it lands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
with an honorable intention of appearing to be amenable or some kind of form of like, easy to work with. Yeah. And you see, that avoidance is what causes the problem because it colors the whole conversation. Imagine someone who comes in and goes, secretly what they're thinking of, oh, I hope I don't say anything wrong. But you have an honorable intention of serving them at the same time. It gets a little off. You see, the conversation heard by the audience gets a little off.
Yeah, it gets confusing.
It gets confusing because
Yeah.
the person's saying one thing, but their way of being is very incongruent with what you're saying
Mm-hmm.
because they're trying to avoid something rather than focus on giving them what they need.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're in the right ballpark. You just need to get the wording down a little bit, right? Your secondary one, I suspect, has something to do with doing it right. So you're avoiding making mistakes in your sales or selling wrong, saying
Mm-hmm.
the wrong thing with an honorable intention of having it be easy for them, perhaps, to see your value
Yeah.
or for you to truly make a difference with them.
Yeah.
You see how that's kind of crazy?
Yeah.
What you're avoiding dealing with is completely contrary to your honorable intention. See, once
Right.
you unmask this, you don't have to deal with what you're avoiding anymore.
Right.
Hey, listen up, everybody. Pay attention here. For those of you hard of hearing, you can focus on the honorable intention. You don't need
Gotcha.
to avoid anything.
Yeah.
Big hint here. Yeah. So, but you want to start articulating this. Okay. Now, let's pretend we articulated it. And I want to move on to Lena, who's waiting here too.
Yeah.
But, the next thing for you to start looking at the payoffs and the costs.
Yeah.
See, it's the cost of the XY. It's the cost of holding on to the XY. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, mark my words, because a lot of you will get confused about this, I predict. Okay. It's the cost of holding on to the XY and the payoffs of holding on to the XY. Some
Mm-hmm.
people get confused about this. So,
Sure.
like, when you're avoiding whatever you avoid, what is the cost of that? And what is the payoff? Okay. And now the why part, the honorable part, will kind of tell you a little bit of what the payoff is as well. It's tricky because some people say, oh, I just need to get my X. I don't need to get my Y. No, you need to go X and Y because they're both like tango partners playing this tango for you. And that's why you're stuck. You have to distinguish both. And you want to start looking at the costs of why you hold on to this pattern.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a payoff because there's so many costs, right? It's costing you money, joy, having customers, making a
Sketchy
difference,
results.
getting you results, relationships
Sketchy.
with
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
people,
Mm-hmm.
going to a
Yeah.
higher level,
Yep.
uh, everything that you see is that upper ceiling that you can't seem to reach. It seems a
Mm-hmm.
little out of reach, but it's ridiculous. You have all the competence, you have education, everything you need,
Mm-hmm.
and yet you can't get there. That's because the payoffs and costs are doing a number on you guys. I repeat it again. The payoffs and the costs in this XY structure is doing a number on you guys. You think it's honorable and you get to make people feel really good about you, but you're avoiding dealing with the hard conversations that you need to have with people is actually what's dictating the game and preventing you from being effective.
Yeah.
See, real bold people don't have this issue. Bold people, by the way, usually deal with that fear. It's never thinking like, you're perfect all the time. You're kind of in between the world of perfection and imperfection, but you're willing to be there. That's bold, that you're willing to be in that world, trying to really be with, I don't want to keep avoiding, and I don't want to just be enmeshed in my honorable intention either. There's something else that I want to focus on in here. And that's what we're trying to get to. The key to that is to distinguish the payoffs and the costs. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with that and think about it. Okay. I'm going to go on to Lena now so we can expand the conversation. Lena, You want to share what's going on for you, please? Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm confused now. I lost my X's and Y's. They mixed up.
Hey, that happens. You know what's happening right now is you got what I call an XY confusion thing going on.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm on somewhere in between X and Y and
Yeah.
maybe even Z.
Yeah. What happens is you see the ego plays a trick on you. It purposely puts you in a confusion state because it doesn't want you to get this. Because if you get this, you might take a big risk and actually become bold
Hmm.
and go do something that you really want to do that could make you really successful, but you have to take a risk.
Exactly. You know what? Something like that is happening is you, I have honorable intention to succeed, but
Yeah.
I some kind of want to succeed uh, in everything at once maybe and
Good.
then what happening is to succeed it's not easy. So succeed in one area you
Right.
have to put some effort, and then when you start putting effort it takes your time, it takes your and then I feel like I'm constrained and I feel like I'm being tired of doing maybe something better. So I don't know, now you lost me again. I had very clear statement before we started this
Yeah.
discussion.
I didn't do anything. You see,
Yeah.
your
It's me. It's me. I started thinking,
it,
analyzing, and
yeah.
I just went,
Actually, I'll correct you further. It's not really you. It's the mechanism running on you. The mechanism is reflected probably in some brain circuitry that kicks in pretty damn quickly.
mm-hmm.
You distract you
Yeah,
from what you saw earlier.
yeah.
Because you know that whatever you saw is
Mhm.
probably a better, more profitable adventure for you, but it involves a bit of risk. Because
I think I
uh
think your equation has also to incorporate some kind of a metaphysical variable there as well, because what I found is that I'm pretty usually pretty good doing different things and actually succeeding,
uh-huh.
but then what's happening is that I become overloaded with responsibility and things start happening
Okay, very good. Yeah,
extra and extra. It's almost like, okay, you can handle that. Let's give, give,
yeah,
take one more. Then the family
right.
gets in, you have to take,
Very, very good. Very good. So
mhm,
just pay attention to your languaging because the language betrays everything for me. Your languaging, start taking on the next thing, the next thing. You want to ask yourself, what's compelling you to take on the next thing and the next thing, the next thing and the next thing? And then you get tired, you get exhausted.
mhm.
See? So what's going on is it could be that there's something that you're trying to avoid, and that's why you start taking on more and more things that don't necessarily put money or satisfaction in your pocket. It's distracting from the real game that you need to play.
And what's a real game?
So yeah, you may need to distinguish what. See, you may
What's a
be
real game?
avoiding playing the real game in a by see what may be going on for you is you're avoiding being committed in a
Yeah,
particular direction
I
with
think
an
so.
honorable intention of mitigating your risk because you think if you focus on one thing, you may miss out somewhere else, as an example, or you
Yeah.
might fail, right? Yeah. So that's where probably the juice is for you. Boy, if you get this one straight,
Mm-hmm.
you can have a breakthrough in focus and commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Repeat it again. You'll get a breakthrough in focus and commitment, probably. Now, I could be wrong, but I've been doing this for years, and so I'm hearing in your speaking because you said it
Mm-hmm.
twice. I keep taking on more and more stuff,
Mm-hmm.
additional stuff. There's something about you taking on more stuff that kind of covers up what you really need to do, but you don't want to deal with what you really need to do, which your part of your brain is telling you to do.
No, no, no. I can't say no. I can't say no. There's no issue. The problem is the things that started happening, especially the last 2 years, is,
Yeah,
family things like, for example, deaths in the family. I had a four, like, I mean,
yeah,
and I have to travel all over the world. And of course, I can't focus on my things. I have kids. And it just comes, I'm holding my responsibility at the same time. So,
right.
but why those things? I mean, it might be life, life is one. No, I had some things happening that never happened to me in my life, some kind of, for example, car accidents twice. in like literally 3 months. And I'm saying, okay, so what's next? Then I have to deal with all the, I said, I can deal with that. And I don't take it on me, it's pushed on me. So that's why I'm saying some metaphysical variable should be there as well. Maybe when we,
You could look at it that way, but it's going to absolve you of putting your hands back on the steering wheel of your life. You see,
yeah,
what could be going on is that, stuff happens, life happens, right?
yeah,
Stuff happens. Happens
yeah,
all the time. Life is unpredictable.
yeah, yeah.
Now, you can treat that as, oh, that's happening to me,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe there's a way of being that's missing such that I can deal with. So there's a way of being that's missing for you such that you can deal with whatever comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a way of being that's missing for you that you're avoiding dealing with. You
A
see?
way of being.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to leave you with that because it's good to listen to other people share,
Absolutely,
and you
absolutely.
might see something, okay?
I appreciate.
Yeah. And, sometimes these things take a little bit of work to do because they're very tricky because your brain wants to kind of preserve things the way they are. And
Mm-hmm.
I represent a threat to your brain because I'm saying, hey, maybe there's a better way. But that
Mm-hmm.
better way always involves some risk. You have to come out of your comfort zone, see,
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
try on something different. And I'm not talking abstractly, I'm talking very specific here, okay? In case you think that. Okay, so hang with that, but we'll come back, okay?
Appreciate.
Keep looking, okay? What am I avoiding dealing with an honorable intention of fulfilling on? Maybe go back to the first one you came up with, okay?
Yeah, yeah, will do. Thank
All
you.
right. You vest. Very bad at pronunciation.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Very good. All
Yeah.
right. Please tell me about what you think your pattern is. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, what I can see, there is a general pattern when you do business. And from what I've heard, you know, in this meeting and from another previous meeting, there's something, it's like also a pattern, that comes off. It's about marketing. So basically, I think, this is a very important area. And doing business is something very, very, very
Okay.
complex.
I'm gonna pause you for a second. Okay.
Yes,
But
yes.
because you want to get rigorous about this and not skirt around the topic. And I know
Yeah,
how.
yeah. I'm going just to the point. Yeah.
So what I want you to do, yes, is to just state very plainly, if you don't mind, for all of us to hear.
Mhm, mhm.
What do you think you're avoiding and what do you think the honorable intention might be? And that might, make it a little bit more focused here. Okay.
Okay. All right. So basically, I'm going to do that in two steps. First, January, like, marketing, in terms of marketing, like,
Yeah.
if you discover a pattern,
Yeah.
in doing marketing, like, being pushy, salesy, or whatever. For me personally, it might be that you are not comfortable, with marketing. In
Okay.
that
So
case,
pause for a second because I'm trying to help everyone else here understand you too. Okay.
mhm.
So you want to say it like are you avoiding trying to be pushy in your marketing? Is that what's going on? Yeah.
Um, yes, a little bit, but also
Yeah.
I feel that I need to have someone that is very competent, in this area. And
Yeah.
my ex would be that I avoid, to have this person,
Well, it's something else you're avoiding.
knowing that I can do it myself.
Okay, very good. So it's kind of like what the example I had earlier on the slideshow, which was, um, you know, you have an honorable intention of thinking you can do it yourself independently and show competence in doing it for your business. But what you're avoiding dealing with is the responsibility of training someone else and delegating it so your business operations can operate more efficiently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a very common issue, by the way. Almost every business owner who hires people deals with this. Almost, not everyone. So, you want to get it more succinct. So it's like you're avoiding dealing with the responsibility and accountability of training your staff effectively and hiring them effectively as well. Hiring, training, and managing your staff effectively so you can have an effective business. So you're avoiding dealing with that with an honorable intention of making sure of thinking that your competence should show through your business by yourself. It's around that arena. Is that yeah?
Yeah, yes, a little bit, but I feel
Thank you.
also
Yeah.
that the area, is so vast. You see what I mean? That, I feel some competence also in the area, and then that I have to, hire, someone who is more competent than me, than myself.
And that's where you get stuck. It's just, okay, if you're going to hire somebody competent, you still have to hold them to account. You still have to manage them at some point. You still have to hire and make sure that they're the right fit. And, there may be some gaps in that you're not fully being accountable for and responsible for. You may be avoiding dealing with that. Are you there?
Yeah, yes, I am. What do you say that I'm avoiding?
So you're avoiding the full rigor, the full accountability and responsibility of making sure you hire right, you manage right, and you have accountability right with the person that you hire so that they can perform.
Yeah.
And the honorable intention could be, or the seemingly honorable intention is that, you have, I can't really pinpoint it in your case, but it's kind of like in the domain of competence. Like you want to really make sure that you're competent. So, but nobody can be really that competent. So I might as well do it myself.
I'm sorry, say it again.
That's okay. So you're avoiding dealing with the full responsibility of hiring, managing, and holding to people account properly with the full rigor. Okay, you avoid dealing with that with the honorable intention of showing your full competence in your business. So it's kind of like you end up doing it yourself because you don't really believe that you can hire and find the right people. So there's a gap there. You don't think.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
I really don't make up my mind and find time, because I'm doing different things,
Yeah.
to find someone,
Yes.
who can do that. You see what I mean? And also find,
You're
the
saying,
right person,
yeah,
who can do that, because I don't want, to hire, someone.
correct. But you're saying the same thing that I'm saying, but in a different way.
Okay.
You see, you're not filling the time is more like but you're going to have to find a time if you want this to work. Otherwise, you're going to continue having the same suffering doing it yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
The truth will set you free, but first it'll kind of piss you off. So the truth is you got to take the full responsibility of finding the time, figuring out how to hire right, manage right, and have accountability so you can have this business work. Not with you being in the center of the universe, but you being someone who orchestrates the universe, the business, but not being the center of the business, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and also there is, the financial issue also, to find, because, finding someone who is very competent,
Yeah, I'm going to caution you where you're going right now. I'm going to caution you because you're going to start falling back into, I just can't find the right people, you see? And that's a trap. It's within the same trap. And so if I can't find people, what's the point? So you get resigned, you see?
No, I mean, there's also the financial issue, like,
Okay,
to pay, the
totally
person,
understand.
the right amount of money,
I
you know
understand.
what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I have the belief that, by bootstrapping, I can save, some.
Okay. So what you may have to do is have a sound plan where initially you bootstrap until you get enough money. You need to have a plan for this so you can hire at the right time. But you see, what I'm pointing to is that the problem persists because you haven't quite fully accounted for the whole thing. Like if you have a plan, then you and I wouldn't be talking about this.
Okay.
I think you got that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, but the thing is, I'm doing also different things because I've been
Now,
doing.
I want to point something out for you. You notice that you keep coming back with excuses and reasons for why it's not working.
Mhm,
You just want to notice that there's nothing bad and wrong. I think you're a good guy. I can tell that you're a great entrepreneur. Okay.
mhm,
But you have a habit of coming up with justifications for why things are not going to work. And
mhm,
so you may need to transform that.
mhm,
You may need to let that go very, very quickly.
mhm,
You will have all the reasons why you fail at the end of this business
mhm,
and
mhm,
why you overworked yourself.
mhm,
You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Yeah.
mhm.
When I laugh with you because I've gone through this myself.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So you may have to give up all that reasoning and make a quick, clear decision to get fully responsible starting today. Come up with a plan. What's the timeline for bootstrapping? And start putting that plan into write up a job description for the ideal person, how much it's going to cost, figure out your timeline, when you can afford that person, and start working that plan. Yeah,
Mhm,
that would be a
mhm,
good start. I can think of 5 or 6 other ways you can make that even easier. So if you want to have
mhm.
a session with me, we can talk about that. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay,
Stay tuned. There may be more stuff here. We're going to go on to the next person so she might see something. Okay.
okay, okay.
Hi, Sandy. Thank you for your patience. Can you describe your, hi, Sandy. How are you?
Hi, how you doing?
Very good.
So it's interesting listening to everybody else also stuck in the world at this point. Um,
It is, isn't it? It makes you human and democratized, right? Everyone's going
right,
through this.
right? Makes me feel
You should see
normal.
the conversation I just had with a top-notch leader
Uh-huh.
just right before this call. He's got a huge company, but he's dealing with the same stuff that you guys are all. Not much
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
And
Go
so it's
ahead.
kind of wild. For me,
Yeah.
I think the why is because I've gone through so many transitions in my life between empty nesting, then losing a job, having to retire pretty early.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
lots of other personal things like everybody else. And I think that
Mhm.
I don't know what I'm avoiding, or maybe I do. Maybe I think I'm avoiding that it's another change that I have to adjust to and come to a place of acceptance. Like what I thought was normal before is no more my normal. Does
You
that
may
make
be
sense?
avoiding the reality. Could be. I don't know yet.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's where it's coming from because I have to. So with my industry, and like everybody else being unemployed and with everything going on, where it's tough to get a job now at the t job market, and I'm closer to retirement age than not.
Okay, so there's something about that, you see.
Yeah, it's kind of like I feel
There's
like I'm pigeonholed. Like I have, like before, I'd always
you're
have
stuck.
like options, just
Yeah.
options. And I feel like
Options to stuck. Yeah.
yeah, it's like
Right.
all my options are like dwindling. I mean, I even tried applying for
Options
like
are
Trader Joe's and
dwindling.
I got turned down 3 times.
Turned down 3 times. See, I'm listening to your languaging, you see.
Right, right. And that's what it is. I think every time I apply for a job, I get the rejection letter
Yeah.
and that just piles it. It's like, okay, now
Yeah.
what? Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
So, I've kind of switched careers.
Okay.
Um, it was going to be my second career anyway after retirement.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like I'm stuck because my foot's still in the door to where the industry I was because I was making really good money and because I was doing it for over 30 years versus
Right.
going to another industry where I've been very familiar with it probably for as long, just never really practiced it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I have all the tools and the tools I'm missing, I'm taking classes to fill in the holes.
Right.
But I just feel like I don't know, like It's like
Yeah.
I've always been very self-motivated, goal-oriented, like, all right, what do I need to do? Where I need to go? What are my resources? Who are the
Yeah.
folks I can go to? All that stuff. And at this point in time, I'm just like, I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah. And what's wrong with not knowing?
Like, and I know what you're gonna say. It's scary. The unknown's always scary. It's the fear. I think that's,
But that's an answer to a different question.
yeah, yeah.
What's wrong with not knowing?
It's uncomfortable.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. And I agree. Yeah. It can be. Can be. It can be. Yeah. But you're saying a lot. It's very interesting. It could be that you're avoiding the discomfort of what you're uncovering, you see,
Hmm.
with an honorable intention of creating certainty for yourself and your family.
Hmm. See, it's the stability. The stability is no longer there for what I had stability before. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. But you want to pay attention to how I said it, because I think
Mhm.
you're interpreting what I said in this particular way that doesn't quite get to the kind of like the joke behind this. There's some irony here, you know? And so it's like you're avoiding it's like you're avoiding choice or avoiding the discomfort of whatever you're facing right now with an honorable intention of creating certainty.
Hmm.
But here's the thing, um, what you it could also be that you're avoiding creating your own future the way you like it.
That thought's crossed my mind.
Yeah, I know it has.
Yeah.
And you're avoiding dealing with that with an honorable intention of mitigating the risks of going on an adventure,
Hmm.
because, you know, I'm not saying, hey, don't take the job. You may have to. I don't know. See, I don't know what your situation is. I'm just saying that you're kind of like avoiding the adventure of creating a vision of how you want this to go, what you
Hmm.
want this to look like.
I think I don't know what I want it to look like. I think that's the problem. I don't
Yeah,
have, because the layoff came so suddenly without preparation.
yeah,
It's like,
totally get it. I totally
yeah,
get
it's
it.
like the rug
Yeah,
got pulled, and I'm like,
yeah.
oh, crap.
But all that you're saying the rug got pulled is all imaginations that came after the fact. You see, it's stuff that you made up about it. The rug got pulled. The rug didn't get really pulled from you. It just something's happened. The economy changed, whatever happened, right? But what I'm pointing to is that at some points in your life, you actually created a vision, you went for it, and you might have actually fulfilled it even.
I did. I did.
Didn't you?
Everything that I've worked for, I've accomplished. Yeah.
I can hear that in the background.
Yeah.
See, so, and now suddenly here you are older and you kind of don't think you can create a vision again and go for it.
Hmm.
And what I'm saying is you may be avoiding dealing with the possibility of fulfilling a vision with an honorable intention of creating more certainty for yourself, because you kind of need that certainty right now. You're older or whatever it is that you're making up in your mind, you see? Yeah. And so the bold Sandy Pearson has disappeared,
Hmm.
and you're now waiting for something kind of show up
I'm
rather
looking,
than,
yeah, I'm looking for an inspiration. And
yeah,
I'm looking for an inspiration and
yeah.
trying to find that aha moment to say, ah,
Well,
there it is.
there's an old saying, a famous artist, I forget his name, he said this really well. He said, inspiration's for amateurs.
Hmm.
The real people, real professionals go out, do the work, create a future, make it real, put the concrete in.
It'd be great if I knew what I'm working towards.
Okay, very good. But you see, you probably have some options in your mind, don't
Mhm.
you? And, there may be some things you haven't discovered yet.
Yeah.
See? And like for people like you, I've had many clients like you, I don't know what to do. I don't know who to be.
Hmm.
So it may be like you may have to try different things. You may have to go out and explore.
I've been doing that. I call it changing the dance because the dance right now is not working very well. And so I keep changing the dance. I've been changing the dance for like the last 10
Okay.
years. And
Yeah,
it's getting tiring.
yeah.
It's getting
So
tiring.
what may be missing is inside of that
Thanks,
dance
Adam.
is that you're not really being rigorous about the exploration. See,
Mm,
you may be, I don't know, treating like a hobby or something. I don't know what, but
mm.
you know, the real professionals got there and really look, okay, what is it that I really want in my life? What do I want it to look like in 5 years? You know?
Well, that part in 5 years can't come until my kids do their part.
Okay, but I
Hey,
said
it's
again, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
What?
Listen, you notice I'm just suggesting something, and then there's a part of you that wants to kind of like defend something, you see?
No, 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 no. You made a statement, right? What it looks like in 5 years, like, and I've heard you say this to other people. I know that. So my next phase in my life would be being a grandma, but I can't get to that point until my kids decide to get married.
Okay,
So
all
that
right, fair
next
enough.
phase, that's
All right.
everything. Everything doesn't have. I don't have any
Yeah.
say or control about the next phase. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah. You don't have any control, but you might have a say in the matter.
And not with grandchildren. No, they get married and they get married.
Take the grandchildren out for now, okay?
Okay, okay, fair.
You can put it back later on, I assure you. There's something called enrollment. You could enroll your children to have children, you know? But notwithstanding that, just for yourself,
Mhm.
you know, uh, see, I think something happened for you. You got disenchanted with the idea of creating a vision and fulfilling it at some point.
No, it's not that. The vision that I was
Yeah,
ready to fulfill
yeah.
was derailed.
Very good. Derailed.
It
Yeah,
was derailed. And so I'm scratching my head going, I
yeah,
didn't see that coming.
yeah. And so, you know, it doesn't mean you can't create something else new and go for it with full integrity.
Right. And that's where I'm stuck because I don't know. It's like, I don't
Very
know
good.
what,
And you see the perpetual loop is there.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
constantly,
Because
constantly.
I need to know what it is first.
No, I want something to like I said, inspire me,
Yeah.
to like,
You're waiting for the inspiration.
yeah, and not waiting. I've been looking. There's a difference. I'm not waiting
Okay.
for it to come to me.
Very
I've been
good.
looking for it. There's a
I'm sure.
difference there.
I'm sure. So there may be something missing in how you're looking. See,
Yes.
maybe, right?
Yeah.
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 It's possible.
Yep. Just taking a step in the next direction.
So the question may be, you know, like, what is it? It's probably something you're avoiding dealing with, you see, in the looking. Like, you know, and it kind of shows up in your languaging, like you need to have the answer. So it may be like you're avoiding, like at this stage of life where you've done a lot, it may take a little bit more inquiry and a little bit more elbow grease to find what you need to like do that would make you really happy, turn out, make a lot of money, and have your grandchildren and everything else.
Yeah. Yep. I
It
agree.
may
I agree.
it may
You're just
take a
parroting what I've been thinking, but I appreciate you confirming it.
it may it may take a shift more, not what you're doing, but who you're being in the matter.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's be, do, have. You see, a lot of people think it's just do and have. No, you know, if you're being someone who's not courageous, you'll do actions that are not very courageous and not produce results congruent. But if you, and I'm not saying it's courageous, it could be something else. But if you shift into being courageous, everything else shifts.
Mhm.
So that what could be missing is you're avoiding being something with an honorable intention of being safe or, you know, whatever it is. That's what I'm hearing in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you, and you're right. The safety parts and stability is more important to me than
Yeah.
than the, I think I'm avoiding adventures because I need the stability first.
Yeah. And I'm not saying you can't have stability without adventure, by the way. You know, maybe you can have both. You see?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out that one.
Yeah. But you see, you keep going back to trying to figure that out. But I
Well,
think
because you have to have a direction
wait,
to know where you're
hold
going.
on,
What?
Let me finish my thought. Because
Okay.
you need to shift your being first.
Hmm.
The being might be the one thing you may have to decide this is who I'm going to be from now on.
Right.
I'm going to be somebody who's determined to find a solution.
Hmm.
And it may be a shift in being rather than a shift in your thinking. The shift in thinking usually comes from a shift in being first.
Correct. I get that. I totally get that.
You almost have to like make it up and say, you know what, I declare that this is the turning point for me. Years ago, I'll tell you a short story just to illustrate this, if you don't mind, if I can share this with you. Is that okay to share the story with you? Yeah.
Mhm.
So years ago, I never thought I could make a difference. Like this is early 90s, and never done. I grew up in Singapore. I was a small country little bumpkin. I was an engineer. How can I make a big difference in the world? But someone invited me to join a hunger concern. And one of my first tasks was to go to Dianne Feinstein's office and propose that she put in additional funding that would save literally 10 million lives in the next 10 years. So I went to the office and I was very nervous. I had no idea how to do this, etc. But I made a declaration to myself, no matter how nervous I am, I'm going to make this happen.
Mm.
It's that determination, yet that nervousness. That's what I walked in with. I did my presentation. The guy looks at me and he goes, I like the way you framed that. Can I use your wording in the policy making? I said, yeah, sure, of course. He said, I think this thing is going to fly. I like the way you worded it. That changed everything. I had no idea what I wrote, but it came from a place in me that spoke to my passion for ending hunger and poverty. Okay. That's where I wrote from. He used that just to complete the story. I was shocked because I realized that this is going to fly. We ended up getting $100 million of funding. It saved 100 million lives in the next 10 years.
Nice.
I had to go out in the Washington, D.C. sunshine and kind of like just unwind for a while because I realized my life was never going to be the same again.
Mm.
The whole appreciation I had myself as someone small who can't make a difference in the face of the unknown disappeared.
Mm.
I had nowhere to hide anymore. I had to show my power. Follow what I'm saying?
Hear you.
You're kind of shying away from that power, but it starts with a declaration. You could make it now, but I'm not saying you have to.
Mm-hmm.
But you can make it any time, you see. And you have in the past, by the way.
Yes.
But you just saying it, you know what? I'm going to make this happen, and this is how it's going to happen.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's go back to Glenda. Anything you see in that conversation for yourself in your XY?
I guess I was just, we're all very tricky people in our own mind. It's like we'll, and it's easy to not know that it's there because it's so insidious. That it blocks us from moving forward, and you can just see it. It's like, yeah, but I want this, and they go, yeah, but, or it's because of this, or oh, I don't feel that way, or there's always some kind of excuse that shows up,
Yep.
and it's sneaky. It's really sneaky because it looks like it's really legit. Like
It looks very legitimate.
it's so legit.
yeah.
Like, no, I need to do this first before this happens.
Exactly.
And that,
Yeah.
and you just get stuck there. And then of course you just spin on it, spin on it and spin on
Yeah.
it. And then eventually it may or may not get done, or get achieved or get
Or
accomplished.
you get lucky,
Yeah. Or you get lucky,
which I hope it doesn't happen because
Yeah.
then you never learn anything.
or you just push through and you get bloody while you're pushing through.
Yeah, most people do that. They push through and then they get sick, burnt out, and disenchanted.
Yeah.
It happens a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to be accountable and responsible for yourself on higher levels, because once you can do that, then you can easily monitor yourself, like, oh, there's that. Oh, that's what's happening. And then you can kind of reboot and kind of quickly do some uh, transformation on thoughts or ideas or what, you can just transform it. And then it's easier to move forward with being bold, with,
Yeah, the barrier to boldness is usually
Yeah.
where we are unconscious about lying to ourselves about where we're lying.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Gloria Steinem said it the best, you know, the
Yeah.
truth will set you free, but first it kind of piss you off.
Yeah.
You
You
kind
know
of
what
got to do it.
I really love about this, your work here. It really takes it to another level because like you were saying earlier about, you know, you can know a lot of things and you can be really,
Yeah,
well read, well, you know, and you just because you know it doesn't mean it's going to change anything. And
yeah,
I love this work because it really gives you a more empowered place to stand with yourself and not outside of yourself or trying to make yourself push yourself into something, you know,
yeah,
that may or may not work. It's just like, no, it's just right here. It's organic. It's authentic. I just have to keep looking
yeah,
and, you know, and facing things and then just go, oh, okay, that's what that is. Here, let me shift that. And I really love your work. So yeah,
yeah. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, you know, it's the area that you all are dealing with is the area what you don't know that you don't know. And that's why it's so tricky, you see. And you know, people will say things like what Adam just said, maybe there is no self. No, you know, that's just California hippie stuff. Adam, don't go down that tunnel. Because it's deceiving. It's really quite straightforward. You just have to start looking at what you're avoiding dealing with that honorable intention, and that will start clarifying everything else. You know, you can look at it metaphysically too, and you know, but if you look at it first from the structural point of view, it's very useful because it becomes immediately practicable. Because if you can give up avoiding what you're avoiding now, it gives you access to what you want to honorably fulfill or choose something else. By the way, a lot of people choose something else. They think that honorable intention is what they want to do. They suddenly realize, you know what? That's not really what I want to do. I want to make a difference somewhere else, you know? And it kind of frees you up because, you know, that XY is kind of like a lock. It kind of has you think that this is the goal I got to go for. But it could be something else. And you're not giving yourself permission to think of that something else. And that's why, you know, both the XY is kind of like they're kind of like co-prison wardens in your prison. They're both working together to keep you stuck in your prison. Not, and you think, you know, you're not in a prison, but you really are. So yeah, thank you for sharing those comments. Yeah. Anybody else like to share or comment or share their XY? Remember, no dialogue, no breakthrough. Some of you are kind of hiding out and making comments. Yeah, Jan, please. Yeah. What's your XY, please? Yeah.
I define X again.
X is what you're avoiding, and
Okay.
Y is the honorable intention. So you're avoiding X with an honorable intention or seemingly honorable intention, fulfilling Y.
Okay. Well, I think what I've been avoiding, partially because I haven't had the funding to do it, is, you know, the as you said, you know, entrepreneurs that are
Yeah.
successful go out and get the work done, right? And so I've
Yeah.
been struggling with trying to get the work done because everything in my business costs a lot of money. You know, like getting testing results and certifications and procurements and, you know, state and federal and all the other areas of, you know, advanced materials.
Yeah.
And then there's marketing and trying to convince people that they should
Yeah.
pay a little more and then their house won't burn down next time.
So let's stay rigorous about this, okay? So, you know, it could be that you're avoiding or resisting the reality of funding with some honorable intention of, I don't know, what it could be like, you know, maybe there's a creative way of doing this, or, you know, it's not right for me. You know, I want to preserve my artistry or my belief in the vision of it and not go out and make, you know, ask for money. You know, it's like in that domain. It could be in that domain, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, I like the creative part better.
yeah, so okay, yeah, very good. So you're avoiding dealing with the reality of funding or possibility of funding, let's put it that way,
Right.
with an honorable intention of preserving your creativity because you feel like, you know, getting funding is not creative.
No, it isn't.
Seems that way. I know many people who tell me, oh, funding is the most creative thing in the world. It's a perception. So you're
Yeah.
stuck in that XY, you see. Um, and so, let's say it again rigorously, right? Because it's important to get rigorous about this so that your ego doesn't supplant this with some other BS, you see. So it's very important to get rigorous. The more rigorous you are, the more you're able to work towards the future and not get stuck back in the past again.
Yeah.
So let's work on this. So you're avoiding the possibility of funding being successful and making it successful with a seemingly honorable intention of preserving your creativity.
Yeah, that probably is true.
It rings true. I can feel it in you. There may be a little tweak here and there, but it's probably more. That's
Yeah, it's just like, just give me the money. I know what to do.
yeah. But you see, that ain't going to happen. Or that might happen. But if you become, if you give up your XY, that might actually happen. You think I'm joking? I've raised a lot of money for a lot of people.
Yeah.
When I give up my XY, miracles happen. Seems like, wow, this is a miraculous thing, but it's not really not. It's just that I gave up something and I started attracting people more who wanted to engage with me in a conversation.
Yeah, well, I thought, well, maybe instead of just trying to sell this material that could be, like a super high performance stucco, I could design some incredibly beautiful building panels with that are very artistic, but also
Yeah.
integrate solar, and
Notice
that's probably worth 10 times more,
probably worth 10 times. Notice the shift in your energy as you said that. That's what I call bold selling energy. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna win with that necessarily. You could just win with that. I've seen a lot of people do it, but you may have to put some structure into it. But you see, when you distinguish the XY, you came up with that idea, or that idea became stronger for you. You notice that?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what happens when you distinguish the XY rigorously.
Yeah, yeah,
You can
because there's
see it.
there's no real excitement about just selling like high performance cement, that doesn't cut it for me.
Yeah. So
you
you're,
know,
you're
and
yeah,
it's a very male macho, crowd that
yeah.
also, you
Yeah.
know, doesn't like women telling them how to build buildings.
Well, so see, there could be something about masculine and feminine in here too. There could be an XY about that. But, and so when you have that kind of XY, you kind of get resigned about your feminism, although sorry, not the feminism, but your feminist aspect. But your feminist aspect if could be suppressed because you have the XY now. You see? And I've worked with women and men too. I mean, men also have a feminine aspect to them. And they resist. Some people avoid bringing their femininity into their sales conversation with an honorable intention of creating more certainty or, more engagement in sales or something like that, because they think their femininity doesn't work.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But who said that? Not very accurate. I know many people who use a lot of feminine aspects to create amazing results in sales.
Yeah, well, I think, my background's architecture, so for me, there are a lot of architects that like beautiful things that are also
Yeah.
passive, solar energy. So that
Yeah.
maybe is what I need to do is
You
move in.
probably, I think you're getting this, and I know you come before to work with me before, but you're on the cusp of, if you really get this, and if you're serious about this, the next step would be to create a new vision statement for your company. It could be creative approaches to solving climate profitably.
Yeah.
See, that could be a new vision statement.
That sounds good. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of climate tech type awards and building envelope awards and,
Don't pay attention to
resilience.
all that. Pay attention to the energy behind what I just said, you see. And then inside of that, you can start designing in a more concrete way what your business and your offer should look like. And now you're going to have the experience of what Warren Buffett calls having all your gears going in the same direction,
That's
including your
yeah.
passion.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think there was a disconnect It's like this sadness of not being able to do the creative stuff.
Who wants to buy from a sad person?
It's true.
I'm really sad about the climate thing. Will you buy from me?
Yeah, I think I need to sell things that are really beautiful and you know, that's where my real passion
Yeah.
is.
You
Yeah.
got to put more meat into that. Create a good offer that has some meat and expresses that beauty that you love, has a price tag to it, and then start reaching out.
Yeah. Started making some
You
big
might
panels.
fail, but from the failures, you'll learn. You want to fail quick in that so you can get the right offer and then take off. That's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I did have a good conversation with someone who's making prefab housing who's interested in my designs, you know, and the material. So
Interesting.
so
Yeah.
that's sounding pretty good.
Yeah. So, you've got to shift here, but you gotta follow through. So you kind of had a breakthrough, in gymnasts, they have a breakthrough in doing a certain move, but now you got to follow through. Because if you
Right.
don't follow through, this experience that you're having right now will disappear and you'll get resigned again in no time. As soon as you get off the Zoom, you'll get resigned. So you gotta actually put it in your calendar to create a new vision statement and a new offering written up,
Yeah.
and then make schedule some time to start making offers of these new offers that you're designing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
then
we
yeah,
can highlight that kind of combination of
yeah.
creativity and climate resilience into the website, you know, where people are going to see it.
Yeah, I would hang out with the vision first and the structures and the offers first, and then change your website. Okay, it's
Yeah.
just a bit of advice for that because I've done this a lot.
Mhm.
Because otherwise I'm spending money on the wrong thing. You want to design it well first, okay? Yeah,
Yeah.
but you notice the shift in who you're being. I can see it. You just have to follow through with it. And if you
Mhm.
don't follow through with it, it'll disappear. I guarantee you. So you need to put it in structure. You need to put it in a calendar that you're going to work on this and get it done.
A
Yeah.
business plan, really.
A good business plan that's seeped in the vision that we just created.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vision statement that you just created. See, everything starts from the vision. You could say it's one way to look at it. It's not the only way. But if you create a good future vision statement, then you can start looking, okay, these are the 5 strategies that I can try underneath this vision statement. Then let me maybe shift these strategies into actual projects that have a deadline date and specific results, including profit. Then from there, you create milestones and all that. You get a more solid plan this way that actually excites you. It's something that's worth selling for you now.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because there are tricky things. I mean, it's a lot more expensive to make panels. You need a lot more money for starting up panel making
Yeah.
than just a spray application. But there's a lot of tricky stuff about just spraying it because it cures
Yeah.
fast and it works differently than other things.
Notice how you're talking now is very interesting. The craftsman in you is coming out, but it's speaking in a different way because I've heard you speak about this before. But your craftsman in you is speaking about beauty and making things work. Whereas before, you were stuck in how am I going to raise money? You notice the shift?
Yeah,
It won't last very long. You're in a state of grace right now. You got to follow through on this, otherwise, it will disappear for you.
right.
I'm trying to be a champion for you to really push this through and have that breakthrough. They call it a breakthrough for a reason because you get the insight. That's what 5 cents, and I kind of buy a cup of coffee with that, But pushing through with the insight and implementing it, that's where the breakthrough happens. That's why they call it a breakthrough. You got to push it through now. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
for the sake of the world, push it through.
yeah. Well, then you'd really be working with true passion. No.
Passion comes from the life of Jesus Christ. It's Latin, actually, but it means the willingness to suffer for something worth suffering for. See, a lot of you are suffering for things that are not worth suffering for. You're doing a lot of hard work that ends up nowhere. So there's no point to the suffering in the short term. See, there are 2 forks in the road usually for most people. Most people, they do long-term suffering suffer a lot, and then they get drunk once in a while, watch TV or Downton Abbey or whatever it is they watch just to have a short bout with joy. But I'm advocating for long-term joy with short-term suffering. You'll need to suffer a little bit, but intensely so that you can have the long-term joy.
Well, I've had some long-term suffering already. So.
You got to give that up. I'm serious. You have to give that
I'm
up.
ready to give it up. I am. I'm like,
Ready
yeah.
is one thing, giving it up, whole other ball game.
Yeah.
So you're getting ready. It's like getting ready, you know, it's either you're pregnant or you're not. So you gotta make that commitment. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Comment? X, Y, they'd like to share, like to get clear on. Remember, you stay quiet, you won't get anything. Breakthroughs happen in a dialogue. It's about the best I can say. You're going to do whatever you do. You're going to stay quiet in your world. But my invitation is to dialogue. Okay, last call. Anybody else like to share anything? Any comments? Anything else? Anything else? Glenda, you want to share? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity to make a difference. Again, I'm going to post the various things. You can take the quiz, the assessment. That's completely free. You can do that. And you can determine what I call your XY archetype is. Some of you may be martyrs, like to suffer a lot. Some of you may be loyalists. You stay very loyal to something at the expense. And all this has an XY attached to it. And you can do this assessment. It has about 63 questions, and it'll take you about 10 minutes to get through them. Usually for most people, unless you're a confusion person, then it might take you a little bit longer. But if you do it, you'll get your top 3 XYs that run you. Okay, and then if you choose to do a session with me, you can do a discovery session at $150 with me, and we can flesh it out and create a plan for you to move past the XYs. Okay, it's been a pleasure. It's been a slice of pleasure with you all. I got to move on to my next dance. Thank you all for the opportunity to make a difference with you all. Thank you very much. See you around the campus. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.